Hi class. I want to talk to you about another editing tip. We talked about this a little bit already in my in-person class, but I wanted to share this with you. I want you to think about continuing to avoid those expletives at the beginning of your sentences. So an expletive sounds like it should be a bad word or something. It's not a bad word, it's just a weak construction and kind of a boring construction too. So an expletive is just a phrase that starts with the word it, and then it adds a be verb, a to be verb, such as is, are, or was, or there is, there were, there are. And it's just a way that maybe you don't need to start your sentence. So sometimes we do like this construction because it's rhetorically effective and it helps us to put emphasis or delay the subject and the verb. Sometimes that's necessary, especially in a speech. But for writing, we don't want to overdo it. So let's take a look again and let's practice. So take a look at the wordy version. It is the governor who signs or vetoes bills. I think we all understand it pretty easily. It's a simple sentence, very straightforward, but we can still clean it up. So let's get rid of the first expletive. Let's get rid of it is. So I'll strike it out. Now we are left with the governor who signs or vetoes bills. Okay, right now it doesn't make sense if we keep the word who. This isn't a pronoun, a type of pronoun that gives us a little bit more linking to if we were going to add to the sentence and explain, but we don't need that now. So we'll cross that off. Now we cleaned it up nicely. Take a look at the correction. The governor signs or vetoes bills. Yay! Now the governor is really front and center at the sentence, and also signs, the action verb, is more emphasized. So it's quicker and easier to understand. That's a simple fix. Let's try another one. There are 4 rules that should be observed. Just like we did with the last one, let's just get rid of that first expletive. Let's cross off there are. Now we have 4 rules that should be observed. Let's get rid of that pronoun in the middle. And we're left with 4 rules should be observed. Strong, very strong. This sentence doesn't end with a period. You may notice the sentence ends with a colon. So the reason why we use a colon is when we want to then introduce another sentence, or would we want to introduce a kind of a list. So that would be the correct punctuation if we now are going to say what those 4 rules are. Want to try another one? The only answer is yes. All right. Look at the bottom sentence, the highlighted. There was a big explosion which shook the windows and people ran into the street. If we're talking about an explosion that's shaking the windows, we definitely don't want a wordy sentence. We want the explosion to happen right away. So again, let's get rid of the expletive. Let's cross off there was. Now we have a big explosion which shook the windows. Okay, now we see that same pattern. We can get rid of the which. Let's cross that out. We no longer need it. So now we have a big explosion, shook the windows, and people ran into the street. I can feel it now. It's much better. There's the correction. So see how simple this is? This is a really, really good tip. If I could tell you one most important tip that I ever received in any of my English classes, is to clean up the expletives. I have one more tip for you. This one will also be quick. Let me scroll down. Another thing that we can do just for another quick cleanup is we can see if we can avoid overusing noun forms of verbs. So sometimes when we're writing, we take a verb and we twist it into a noun, and that's okay when we're speaking usually, but in writing, it delays the understanding of what we're talking about. When this happens, this is called a nominalization. You don't have to remember that word, but I want you to be familiar with what it looks like. So what my what my text here says, that using the action verbs disguised in nominalizations as the main verbs instead of the form of be can help to create engaging rather than dull prose. So let's see what a version of that looks like. The function of this department is the collection of nouns, or I'm sorry, of accounts. So it sounds kind of dry and far away. And when I read it, it makes me a little mad, honestly, because I want it to make sense faster. And right now, it just reminds me of a lot of that technical language that I see in like government documents. So I just want you to say it quickly and be straight with me. So let's see how we can fix it. What if we just said this department, which is the subject, this is what we're talking about, right? Let's just say this department, and then let's take the verb. Right now it's not a verb, right now it's a noun. Collection is a thing that people do. It sounds like a verb, but it's actually a thing. To collect is the verb. So what if I said this department collects accounts? Yay. Look how much better that is. So this is a correction. This department collects accounts. Oh gosh, I get it now. Like, it's so fast, it's so easy. This is what all writing should look like. Notice that we took out the function of. That's a wordy construction right off because we are talking about the function. So if I'm already telling you what the function is, I don't now need to repeat the phrase the function is, because then that's a redundancy. I'm just repeating myself. Let's do one more. Okay. The current focus of the medical profession is disease prevention. This is another headache-inducing sentence. It doesn't have to be, though. So I think we have some important words here. Like, we know we're talking about a current focus. We know we're talking about medical profession. That's important. And we know we're talking about disease prevention. So how can we make it better so that this word focus, which is right now a noun, can we turn this into a verb and make it do more work? Let's see what that looks like. Okay. What if I said the medical profession currently focuses on disease prevention? Do you see what I did there? It's like a magic trick. I just took that noun, which is focus, and I turned it into a verb. The medical profession focuses on. Okay, now I think it's a better sentence, because if you look at the first one, medical profession doesn't come at the beginning, it comes in the middle. And right now it comes at the beginning. So we understand what the subject is about faster. And then we can also put more emphasis on this new verb, which is better. Don't worry if that one's a little bit confusing. I feel like it's not something that you need to completely understand right away, as long as you just have that idea in your head that sometimes when we cut out words, we might be changing forms of nouns into verbs. We might be also getting rid of just words like unneeded pronouns and such. All right, so that was our lesson. Again, good luck with your writing this weekend. I hope it goes well, and allow yourself a little extra time so you can get this proofreading done. Thanks, everybody.